Hi, today I will be presenting a micro-teaching lesson on the use of superlatives to a high beginner, low intermediate English class in a non-academic setting, a setting that is focusing on the improvement of conversational English skills. I will review adjectives and comparative adjectives, which were covered in a previous lesson, and today I will be touching on new material, which will be the introduction and use of superlatives in a conversational context. This is my second micro-teaching lesson for the Arizona State program. Hi, class. Welcome. Glad to have everybody back today. How are you doing today? Feeling good? Great. Did you have a nice weekend? Oh, fantastic. Did you eat some delicious food? Ah, yes, I love to eat spaghetti. Oh, you ate some chicken adobo. Great. Today we're going to talk about some of the most delicious food. But class, first we're going to start talking about who is the tallest student in the class. So let's think about the tallest student in the class. Remember before we talked about a tall student and we used a comparative to talk about a taller student. Today we will talk about the tallest student in the class. Yes, many tall students in this class, so this may be hard. Okay, so let's think about it, class. Who is the tallest student in the class? Remember, we have tall, we have taller, and we have tallest. Ah, yes, Mary. Mary is the tallest student in the class. Now let's think, who is taller? We have John, he's tall, and we have Mary, she's tall too. You're right, Mary is very tall. I think Mary is, yes, you're right, Mary is a basketball player. Now we also have the shortest student in the class. So we have the tall student, the tallest student, a short student, and the shortest student. So who is the shortest student in the class? Exactly, yes. Edward is the shortest student in the class. Now, John and Edward are short, but who is shorter, John or Edward? You're right, exactly. Edward is shorter than John. So we have short, shorter, and shortest. Now, there are many countries in the world, okay, many big countries. So let's think about the biggest country in the world. So what is the biggest country in the world? Some people said China. Yeah, big country. Canada. Yes, very. Brazil, big country. But really, Russia is the biggest country in the world. Now, we can also compare the size of a country. Okay, so which country is bigger, Russia or Japan? Yes, Russia is much bigger than Japan. So Russia is bigger than Japan. Great job. Now, the United States has many states. We can think about the smallest state in the United States. So which state is the smallest in the United States? Many states, states like Indiana, Arizona, California, Florida. The smallest state is Rhode Island. Yes, very small state. Rhode Island is the smallest state in the United States. Now we can think about comparing states. So which state is bigger, Rhode Island or Arizona? Yes, Arizona is bigger than Rhode Island because Rhode Island is the smallest state in the United States. So class, let's quickly review and also look at our superlatives. So we have our adjectives, tall, we have our comparative, taller, and now we have our superlative, tallest. Okay, before we learned big, then we learned bigger. Now we're learning biggest. Okay, we have short, we learned shorter. Now we're learning shortest. We have small, we learned smaller. Now we're learning smallest. Easy, easier, easiest. But class, wait a minute. What about interesting? Huh. We have interesting, but not interestinger or interestingest. We have to be careful. Interesting becomes more interesting and most interesting. Delicious becomes more delicious and most delicious. Difficult becomes more difficult and most difficult. So we have to be careful there with those three adjectives. So class, let's practice. Let's talk about food. What is the most delicious food? Oh, did I hear chicken adobo over there? Did I hear sushi over there? Did I hear pierogi over there? Did I hear linguine from the middle? It's hard to decide. We can say that chicken adobo is the most delicious food. What is the easiest language to learn? So many languages. I heard Japanese, I heard Spanish, I heard Italian, Russian, English. It's hard to decide. Maybe we can say Spanish. Yes, Spanish is the easiest language to learn. The other side, what is the most difficult language to learn? Chinese, pretty difficult. Russian, pretty difficult. English, pretty difficult. Maybe we could say Chinese is the most difficult language to learn. What is the biggest state in the United States? I heard Arizona. I heard Texas. I heard California. Gonna have to go with the California people. California is the biggest state in the United States. Who is the most interesting person in your family? Your mother? Yes, mothers can be. Your father, your brother, your sister. Yeah, many people. I think in my family, my brother is the most interesting person in my family. Who is the shortest person in your family? Your mother, your grandmother, your father. Your father is the shortest person. Great. So you could say, my father is the shortest person in my family. Which book is the most interesting? War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Very interesting book. Yes. The Tale of Genji. Great Japanese book. Right. So maybe that book, we could say War and Peace is the most interesting. Which movie is the most interesting? You saw the new Top Gun movie. Yeah, maybe very interesting. You saw The Seven Samurai? Yes, a very powerful, good, very good Japanese movie. So maybe The Seven Samurai is the most interesting. All right, let's do a little more practice. So class, this is a quick review of our comparatives. So food again. Which food is more delicious? Now remember, we're not saying most delicious, we're saying more delicious. So which food is more delicious, sushi or chicken adobo? I hear some sushi over here. I hear chicken adobo over here. Hard to decide. Maybe chicken adobo is more delicious than sushi. Maybe sushi is more delicious than chicken adobo. Hard to decide. Which city is more interesting, Tokyo or Los Angeles? I hear some Tokyo over here. I hear some Los Angeles over here. Hard to decide. Maybe we can say Tokyo is more interesting than Los Angeles. Which language is more difficult, English or Chinese? English, Chinese. I hear English over here again. Chinese over here. It's too hard to decide. Maybe we can say English is more difficult than Chinese. Which building is taller, Taipei 101 or the Empire State Building? Taipei 101 is a tall building. So yes, I agree. I think Taipei 101 is taller than the Empire State Building. Which state is bigger, California or Arizona? Some people say Arizona. Some people say California. It's a tough choice, but I'm going to go with the California people. California is bigger than Arizona. Okay, class, let's quickly listen. You're going to fill in the blank. Please listen. My mother is shorter than my sister, but she is shorter than my father. I'm so sorry, class. My mother is taller than my sister, but she is shorter than my father. My grandmother's food is more delicious than my mother's food. Don't tell my mother. I want to learn to speak Japanese, but it is more difficult. I'm so sorry. I want to learn to speak Chinese. I want to learn to speak Japanese too, but I want to learn to speak Chinese, but it is more difficult than English. Spanish is easier to learn than English, but it is not the easiest language. I think Japanese food is the most delicious food in the world. Spirited Away is the most interesting Japanese film. So class, check your answers with your partner and see how you did.